I was the perfect wife. Until the day I disappeared. It all started on a quiet evening in Oslo. My hands smelled like cinnamon and vanilla. The apple tart was ready. It was his favorite. I had set the table just right, lit a small candle, and even wore the lipstick he once said made me look elegant in a sad way. He was late. Again. But I didn't call. I didn't text. I just waited. Like always. I'd been the kind of wife books praise and movies romanticize. The kind that keeps her voice soft, her home spotless, and her emotions locked away where no one can see them. I thought that was love. I thought that was enough. But let me take you back. I met Henrik during my second year at university. He was tall, intelligent, charming in the way only damaged people can be. There was a storm behind his eyes that I mistook for depth. He told me I was different. And I believed him. He said I made him feel safe. So I worked harder to keep that feeling alive for him even when it meant silencing myself. When he got the job offer in Norway, I followed without hesitation. New country. New life. New silence. At first, it was fine. He brought me coffee in bed. He kissed my forehead when he left for work. He came home late, yes, but with apologies and stories. Then something shifted. He grew colder. His phone was always upside down. He started criticizing my cooking, the same recipes he used to beg me for. He laughed at my ideas in front of his colleagues. And I smiled. Because that's what good wives do. Right. One night, I asked him, Henrik, do you still love me? He looked up from his laptop and said, don't start. Just that. Nothing else. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry. But because I was scared of what would happen if I finally admitted to myself that I was alone in that marriage. Months passed. I stopped calling friends back home. Stopped painting. Stopped writing. Stopped dreaming. My world became smaller. His moods controlled the weather in our apartment. If he was happy, the sun came out. If he was distant, the sky turned grey. If he was angry, I held my breath. I lived in forecasts. Not freedom. And yet, I stayed. Because I told myself, it's just a phase. He's just stressed. All couples go through this. I wore excuses like perfume. Layer after layer. Until one day, I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. My eyes were dull. My shoulders hunched. My smile mechanical. I looked like a ghost. A polite, well-dressed ghost. Then came that Tuesday. The one that changed everything. He came home, threw his keys on the counter, and said, "Can you stop being so needy? It's exhausting." I hadn't said a word. Not a single word. I had just looked at him. That's all it took to be too much. Something in me cracked. But not loudly. More like the sound of ice breaking underfoot, quiet, deadly. That night, while he slept, I packed a small suitcase. Passport. Wallet, one sweater. One book. I left the ring on the kitchen counter. Next to the cold apple tart he never touched. I didn't leave a note. I didn't need to. He wouldn't have read it anyway. I flew to Lisbon. Why Lisbon? Because it was the first place I could think of that felt warm, not just in weather, but in spirit. I rented a small studio near the sea. The kind with chipped tiles and noisy neighbors. But it was mine. Every creak, every breeze mine. I started walking again. Talking to strangers. Laughing. Breathing. I remembered what it felt like to exist without fear. People ask me sometimes, weren't you afraid? Of being alone? Of starting over? And I tell them, I was already alone. I just finally made it official. Starting over wasn't the scary part. Staying would be been. Do I miss him? No, I miss the idea of who I thought he was. The version I built in my head, brick by hopeful brick. But that version never existed. I was married to a silhouette. A beautifully constructed shadow. Now, I dance in the sun. Even when it rains. A year later, I published a book. A memoir, of sorts. I didn't use real names. But he knew. And I didn't care. I wasn't writing for revenge. I was writing to breathe. To reclaim the voice I buried for years beneath politeness and fear. Here's what I've learned, leaving isn't weakness. It's choosing yourself. Silence doesn't equal peace. And love without respect, it's not love. You can't fix someone by breaking yourself. No matter how gentle your hands. If you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds like me. Then maybe it is. Maybe you're waiting for permission. So here it is, you are allowed to leave. Even if nothing dramatic happens. Even if there are no bruises. Emotional absence is violence, too. Your sadness counts. Your loneliness matters. You are not dramatic. You are not ungrateful. You are not too much. You are simply awake. And now that you see, don't go back to sleep. Somewhere, right now, a version of you is living the life you dream of. Walking by the sea. Laughing loudly. Cooking for herself. Go meet her. She's waiting. And if you ever find yourself setting the table for someone who never shows up, leave the candle burning for yourself. You deserve the warmth, too.